Welcome to another episode of Nerd to Nerd, the podcast that encourages you to let your inner nerd out. I'm Lee.
And I'm Binks.
And we're back to recording on Saturday morning because Binks had one hell of a Friday.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. Well, it started with me burning my hand on hot water for me to make my morning tea at the water cooler.
Never a good sign.
Nope. So that's how my day started. And then it ended with me on my way home from work and my tire popped while I was on the freeway. Jeez. Thankfully, I didn't lose control. I was able to get off the freeway and pull off on a side street. But then, had to call for roadside assistance. And that was a whole cluster fuck. We'll just say it. It was a cluster fuck. It was a clusterfuck of fuckness, as I like to say. Finally, after 2 hours, I managed to walk through my door.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was a 2-hour ordeal. I would have changed the tire myself. I just want to go on record that I do know how to change a tire. Unfortunately, in 105-degree heat, the pavement and the tires are probably, I would say, upwards of 140, if not even more degrees. And I had no gloves. So there was no way I could change the tire.
You could have taken your shirt off and used that as no kidding. I don't know where that came from.
We don't need to scare the neighborhood. Like, it's good. It's so good. So unfortunately, we weren't able to record last night, but thankfully we were able to rearrange our schedules. And later today, I will be going to get my tire either repaired or replaced or whatever. So just, fun.
I'm glad that you were able to pull over because sometimes that can be pretty scary. And
the funniest part about the whole thing was when it happened, when the air released, I heard it, but I could have sworn it was the car next to me. I'm like, oh, that sucks. It like sucks for you, but apparently it sucked for me. So so that was my Friday. Let's just move on. Let's not relive that nightmare.
We can do that. Well, since you were out dealing with the heat and a flat tire, I was sitting at home watching the Suicide Squad.
Oh, okay. I watched it on Thursday, the day.
Oh, you did see it?
I did.
Oh, okay. I didn't think you saw it.
I did. Okay. I have feelings about it, but you're not going to like my feelings about it.
Oh, well, go ahead. Tell me about your feelings.
I was not impressed whatsoever.
Really?
Okay. I don't know. I didn't care for it really at all. I forced myself to keep watching.
No kidding.
Really? Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know what it is, but I just don't feel like DC takes the time to really flesh out engaging stories all the time. I don't know. Well, at least in this case, I don't know. I just wasn't invested.
Yeah. They do seem...
Obviously you disagree, and I knew you would, which is totally fine.
I don't totally disagree with the story part of it. They seem to be obsessed with these ensemble, cast kind of movies, and it does make it very hard to connect with any one specific character. I was thinking about this morning, it's almost like it's not just this movie, it's even movies that are supposed to be featuring, like Wonder Woman is the one that comes to mind, are supposed to be featuring one character, and it's like they lose track of that individual, and they don't, like, even the Gunpowder Milkshake. Even I had that issue with, I didn't connect with that protagonist, and it's almost like the days of the Clint Eastwood kind of,
all right,
the that kind
classic,
of movie star. The movie star kind of era is gone, and I think we still get it with Charlize, which I'm gonna work that in because it's Miss Charlize Theron's
birthday to you. Love her.
Yeah, I think we still get it with her, and I think we still get it with like Matt Damon and Ryan Reynolds. I think we still get it with a lot of those people, but some of these other movies that maybe those movie stars aren't quite as popular. I don't know what the deal is, but I do agree with you about the story. It was a little lacking.
Yeah,
A word.
that is, you took the word right out of my head.
Yeah.
And it's just, and I just lost train of thought.
Yeah.
If Friday continues.
Yeah. I thought there were pockets of amazingness. Harley Quinn is fucking amazing in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she was like the one redeeming thing for me in the movie.
Yeah. The fight sequence, just her little bit of storyline.
I remember what I was going to say. So I feel like they were more focused on creating amazing CGI, which it was off the chart as far as the computer graphics and everything. But I just feel like they put all their focus on that they just kind of left the story kind of just, I don't know.
It's not,
I was disappointed.
It's not even supposed to be about one particular individual because it is such an ensemble cast.
Right. And that doesn't bother me. It's just, I couldn't get into it. I just felt like they were going for the gore factor.
Yeah.
And grossing you out and the effects and the special effects. And that was the focus. Like, it wasn't about the actors or the story or not the actors, but the characters or the story. It was all about how can we, I don't know, like just make a spectacle.
And it's tough because most of these characters are not, they don't have like main storylines and aren't like, you can't find them somewhere else other than the comics. And so it's hard to develop any kind of emotional attachment to any of them. I mean, I was emotionally attached to the rat, unfortunately. For me. The rat, yeah.
Sebastian, he was a cutie.
He was very cute.
I love how he kept waving to everybody.
Is that rat waving at me? I'm like, yeah.
It was so cute.
Yeah, it was cute.
Okay, so Sebastian was another redeeming quality of this movie.
The shark was hilarious. I loved the shark. King Shark is hilarious. He
had his moments. He did have his moments. I didn't like how they made him so like dumb. You know what I mean? Like in the Harley Quinn
comic,
in the animated series,
the HBO series,
yeah, like he actually can talk. Like that was one thing that just drove me crazy. Like it was like they didn't even make him able to really communicate very well.
Yeah.
Which it kind of it lent to that atmosphere or whatever. And
I mean, when he picks the rat girl up when they're the first
that
night,
was funny. That was funny.
Freaking hilarious. Hand.
Okay, that was funny too.
I read again, and the book is upside down. No, there were some funny parts.
Oh, I laughed so many times. I'll agree with you there. But for the most part, I was just like how much longer is this movie?
the whole conversation they have in the office cubicles about Milton.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's Milton? What? That I was laughing the entire time that was happening.
And then I don't want to give we don't want to give too much away because it did just come out.
Yeah. But the ending sequence, oh my God. That was amazing.
Which part?
Where he's falling down through the
I'm trying to remember.
So he's standing
that part. Yeah, that was a really cool like action sequence.
Yeah, it was amazing. Now, did you watch it past all of the credits? Because there's an end scene.
See, I was so over it. I was going to text you.
I was going to text you to tell you to watch it. Yeah,
I should have.
Yeah.
Because, it was good. Should I go back and watch it, or
it teases for a sequel or a sequel or a not a sequel, but maybe an off. That's what I'm looking for. Another story, another character story.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'll go back and watch it. I mean, I already suffered through the movie.
Yeah.
So I might as well go see the scene.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a quick spoiler right at the end after the movie. What do you call that? Title screen, the end screen, whatever. So Weasel.
Oh, I did see that.
Okay, but there's one, you got it. The whole credits have to roll all the way through.
Okay, yeah, I did see the Weasel part.
Yeah. And there's another scene.
Yeah, okay.
So,
well, I'll go back and I'll check it out. I mean, it's only going to be like a minute or so.
Yeah, yeah. I was looking forward to seeing Nathan Fillion, because I knew he was in the movie. He actually voiced a character in Destiny and Destiny 2. No, we killed him off.
Wait, Nathan Fillion was in Suicide Squad?
Yeah. So he voiced a character in the video game I played, Destiny.
Right.
And he was one of he was my hunter vanguard. So each class, the warlocks, the titans, and the hunters all had a vanguard that they checked in with, and he was the one that would give you your bounties and your everything. Okay. The game has evolved so that we don't have that personal interaction with our vanguards anymore. But when the game first came out, that was your source of, getting your missions and things. And unfortunately, spoiler, Nathan, the actor, needed to move on and couldn't continue voicing Cade. Cade 6 is the Vanguard's name, and I'm emotionally attached to Cade 6 because I play a hunter in the game, and so I don't have a Vanguard now. But spoiler alert, they did kill him off in the game. Oh. And so I was looking forward to. I know that Nathan does other things. I know he's on Rookie. It's some show he played.
The Rookie.
Rookie. So I know that he's gone on and done. And I think that's the show that he left the game for. But I was looking forward to seeing him in this movie, and I watched the whole thing, and I'm like, what? Where was Nathan Fillion?
Right.
He plays the character TDK, whose face is.
Oh, no way.
Yes.
That was Nathan Fillion.
That was Nathan Fillion. So now I'm going to have to go back.
Yeah, and check that out because I love Nathan.
Yeah, me too.
I loved him from Castle. That was I got really into that show.
Yep.
Casket. That was the ship on that show.
Oh, okay.
Kate and Castle.
Oh, okay.
Beckett. Yeah. Anyway. So I'm definitely going to have to go back and check that out.
Yeah, I had to go look it up because I was like, I didn't even recognize his voice. I mean, I think it's because they're in that cargo plane and it's hard to kind of hear and see.
TDK, and it stood for
what did it stand for?
And again, we spoiler if you care, but TDK, right? It was like the detachable kid or something like that.
Oh, well, that was him?
Yeah, wasn't it? Yeah.
He was. Yeah. I was like, after the ending of the very first sequence where, I mean, and it's a little bit of a spoiler, but like everybody's gone. I'm like, what the fuck? That's happening.
I know. And I was like, okay, so they just kill
everybody basically. I mean, it's not that big of a spoiler because that's all over the internet. So if you're listening to us, you're going to get spoiled a little bit, but we're going to try not to. But I mean, I loved it for all of the action. The gore was a little bit gory. I will say that it was
a little bit,
sometimes a little bit over the top, but
yeah,
I've seen worse. So. I've definitely seen
I know. True. But yeah, I really felt that they were going for the jump, not the jump factor, the gore factor. They were just trying to go over the top, and it was like, okay, like.
And I thought this wasn't going to be as comedic, I guess, but the whole conversation when they're walking through the woods about the bag of dicks. And the
I don't even remember the bag of dicks.
Oh my God.
There's a whole yes, I do. Yes, I do.
There's a whole conversation about dicks on the beach, and I would eat all the dicks on the beach. Yeah.
Yeah. If it was for what he was the peacemaker, right? Peacekeeper, peace something.
Yeah, peacemaker.
Which is funny because
it is funny.
Yeah,
it's very funny.
I don't know if you can hear it, but my stomach keeps grumbling like really, really loud.
We're good.
You may have to cut some audio.
Make a guest appearance. I'll just put it in the notes. Guest appearance by Binks's gargling stomach.
Yeah, shut up. Not you.
No, I know. I saw you look down when I said it. I saw you look down. That's okay. It's fine.
Everything nobody wants to hear you.
Yeah, so I guess so. I just assumed that you hadn't watched
No, I
Squad,
did.
but it's
I just was so
word.
disappointed, and I didn't want to,
Yeah.
I wanted to save it for the pod. And
yeah, because you knew I wouldn't be disappointed.
Right, exactly. So I was like, okay, well, just shake it off and move on.
It's not everybody's cup of tea, and that's fine.
Right. And yeah. And if you enjoy it, that's great. Like enjoy it. Yeah. Like I have no problem with anybody else enjoying it. I couldn't get into it.
I'll definitely watch it again. There's many sequences I want to see again. So
yeah. Harley Quinn was a badass in the movie.
Just it's so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Margot Robbie got to shine really well in this movie.
Yes, she did.
I was absolutely awestruck at the strength that they gave her, like the physical strength that they gave her.
Yes. There was that one scene where she does some very physical.
Wow.
Yes. It was that whole sequence was really, really good.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Done really well. So it's actually the L Word that you haven't had a chance to watch yet.
Well, because I was stuck on the side of the road.
Right.
Didn't get to watch it yet.
I've watched it twice already. It's very good. I'm very happy that it's back.
And we're talking about L Word Generation Q.
Generation Q, yeah. So I just finished my OG rewatch on Thursday.
Oh, you're all the way through?
I was all the way through it, and I forgot because I'd only seen that series probably once through initially, and I had forgotten in that last episode, spoiler.
Oh my God.
That Jenny dies, right?
Yeah, she's murdered
we never
shit ending.
We never get resolution as to did she, just
whether or not she was killed
or was she killed? Who killed her? We never. And I also didn't remember that the cop in that episode is Lucy Lawless.
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot that. Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, that's Lucy Lawless.
Yeah.
But it also in that episode, there's a very nice love scene between Bet and Tina, and Bet says, when we get to New York, I want to marry you.
Ooh. And then knowing what happens in Generation Q.
So they apparently do get married.
Oh.
And at some point, and we didn't really get this in season 1 of Generation Q, we didn't really get a whole lot of explanation.
Right.
But at some point, Tina does leave Bet.
Mm-hmm.
And they end up getting divorced. And when we see Tina again in season 1 of Generation Q, she's come back to console Bet because of the election. And
yes,
so in season 2, we're apparently going to get Tina and Rosie O'Donnell, because we've already talked about this. Rosie O'Donnell is playing Tina's. I'm sorry. Rosie O'Donnell is playing Tina's fiance. And I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm upset at the character they picked for Rosie to play. She's phenomenal. I'm not upset about how she's playing it or who she's playing or what she's playing, because she's got a very butch character, and I love it. I love seeing, butches finally on a show about lesbians.
Represent.
I'm upset with the personality that they've given her. It's very stereotypical.
And
we've only obviously seen them just a little bit in this episode, but I'm unhappy that there's no chemistry. And I'm also unhappy that Bet, this is not going to be a surprise that Bet is still in love with Tina.
You're upset that she's in love with her?
No. I'm upset that they're going this route, that they're going to make Bet pine over Tina because Tina's got a fiance.
Right. Well, and knowing Bet's character, it's like she wants what she can't have. You know what I mean? As soon as she gets what she wants, she doesn't want it anymore.
That's true. That is true. But she's always, even at the end of OG, they went through.
I love how you call it OG.
Well, I don't know what else.
I love it. Right? No,
continue. Carry on. In season 6, they they split up in like season 3, I think it is. And then we suffered through this whole, they got other people in their lives and like, really, it's not, don't even go there because their chemistry is perfect. And why are you doing this? They finally get back together in season 6 and they leave us with a happy ending there. And it's like, why couldn't you just leave us? Why couldn't you just do?
I wonder if it was because Laura Holloman didn't want to like come back as a recurring, like all the time. I mean, I don't know.
It's possible. I don't know either.
Maybe she was like, I'll do like a little bit, but I'm not gonna be in every episode type of character.
Because I did hear somewhere that she did want to. She left acting, I think, is what.
Oh, okay.
I thought I heard. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, they still have chemistry, so I don't know. We'll see. It's just the first episode.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get upset about it, but they definitely seem to be more focusing on them now again, where the first season of Gen Q was more about the younger kids, which I'm fine with too. Again, the trans representation and all the everything, all the multitudes of all kinds of representation is much better in this series now. So I think it's definitely worth checking out and I don't know, it's good. It's a good show.
Okay,
I'm happy about it.
I mean, I'm definitely going to watch it, obviously, but I just I will watch it, and I can't wait for the rest of it. Do we know how long the season's going to be? Is it 8 episodes?
I don't know.
I think that was
they're
what
releasing,
the last one was.
The last one was 8, and they're only releasing them one at a time, so you can't
But I wonder, does it say on IMDb or do
I don't know? I haven't checked. It's probably 8, but yeah,
roughly 8.
Probably, maybe.
Okay. Well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I like I said, I will definitely watch it, and I am looking forward to it. Just one quick question, and don't spoil anything. Just a yes or a no answer is sufficient. Do we get an answer to where and I can't remember the freaking character's name. Which one she went with?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. So that's all I need to know.
Her name is Sophie. So Sophie.
Thank you.
Sophie
I
and
thought
Danny.
it was something with an S, and I'm like, yeah. Okay. So
it's Sophie.
Anyway.
Yes, we get an answer.
No. Sylvie's Loki.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. And just a quick reminder for anybody who's excited about the new Marvel series, What If? It's actually coming out this week on the 11th. So August 11th, that series will premiere on Disney Plus, and I can't wait.
Yeah. Is the captain, is that, what's her name? Is that the first
Captain
one?
Carter?
Yeah.
That has been in the trailer and everything. Okay. So I wouldn't be surprised if that one was. Okay. And I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know if they're going to do one story at a time, or if they're going to do small pieces of various stories and then continue them through the season. I don't know how they're going to do it. So
my guess would be that they would do one each.
Right. That I would think so episode, too, but you never know. I mean, they could try to stretch it out throughout the season. So
yeah, they could.
Yeah. Right. So anyway, August 11th, Wednesday, it will come out 2 days after this pod releases. So if you're into that sort of thing, keep I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
looking forward to having something to watch until Supergirl comes back.
Oh yes.
Plus,
you had some news about that too.
Oh yeah, they wrapped filming on yesterday. And it was all over Twitter. Melissa Benoist posted a photo of herself saying, "I'm saying goodbye to this glyph," and it's
to this what?
Her glyph, her Supergirl emblem, her costume, and we're all very very sad to see it end, and everyone is in anticipation of what the writers might do, or the producers or the showrunners might do with Supercore. And I've been in the camp all along that they are never going to let them be a couple. So Supercore, if you don't know, so Kara Danvers, who is Supergirl, who is actually Kara Zor-El, but her human name is Kara Danvers, and Lena Luthor have had this chemistry I looked it up, since season 2. And they've been on and off on screen together. They've been friends for a majority of that. There's even been some overtly romantic things that Kara does in one of the seasons where she's trying to apologize to Lena Luthor, and she flies to Paris and Italy and wherever else she flies and brings all of Lena's favorite things to her.
Oh, wow.
It's very romantic.
Yeah.
And there's another scene where Lena asks, she's using Kara, but Kara doesn't know this, but she asks her to go and get Lena's brother, Lex Luthor's journals from a secret location that only Kara can get into as Supergirl, because at this point, Lena knows that Kara is Supergirl. So she doesn't always know this, and there's a big so she doesn't always
I didn't realize that she finds out that
she finds out. I'm spoiling
again,
everything.
And I haven't watched the series, and I have actually been considering starting it again. So
well, then if you're gonna watch it, I probably shouldn't spoil it for you. But
well, I mean, it's go ahead.
You're not gonna remember. You probably won't remember half of what I tell you anyway, right?
Hey, I take offense at that.
No, that wasn't.
But that's okay.
That didn't sound right.
No, it's fine. There's a lot. Anyway.
There's 6 seasons, 7 seasons now. So I mean, by the time you get to the part that I'm telling you about, you probably won't remember that I told you that, because I wouldn't.
No,
it's amazing that I remember it.
It's totally fine, dude.
Yeah,
I'm just giving you shit.
So Lena finds out that Kara is Supergirl, and Lena gets mad because Kara never told her. And there's a whole. It's very emotional. It's very gut wrenching. It's very like you feel those characters, just, and there's crying and there's working it out. And so at one point Lena decides she's going to get Kara back by getting Lex Luthor's journals to build this, whatever, I forget whatever she was building. They're always building some death ray or something.
Right.
So Kara does it for Lena, and she brings it to her, but she, there's a scene where Lena is sitting in her living room, on her couch in her fuzzy rainbow socks. And
rainbow socks.
Mm-hmm.
Nice little nod there, writers.
And Kara, as Supergirl, is floating outside Lena's balcony holding the book. And they're like, it's a very, again, I'm not describing it very well, but it's a very romantic gesture that Kara is making for Lena. And they make it look like that.
Right. So of course, didn't the writers say outright that they were trying to write that in there, even though they knew, or they would never let them go that route, that they were purposely writing that into the story?
I never heard that. I've never heard that they were doing it.
I don't know. Maybe
purpose.
I'm confusing it with a different show.
I think we're assuming they're doing it on purpose, but I think they have been adamant, as far as I know, the official word is that they've been adamant that they are not a couple and that they never will be.
Right. But I thought I had read something or something about the writers, and I could be totally wrong, but I thought I had read something that said that the writers knew that the fans wanted it, so they kind of like wrote stuff in, not to actually make them a couple, but to just kind of like give that nod. But then again, that's queer baiting, so I don't know.
I don't think they've ever admitted that they're queer baiting. They've been adamant. They've been adamant that they're not queer baiting. That this is not,
okay,
this is not what they're trying to do.
I could be thinking of a different show.
No, I think the fans have accused them of that the whole time, and I know they have.
Right.
So because of all of those things, and because of the fact that the fans have picked up on that chemistry and want more of it, again, the show has been very adamant that they aren't a couple and that this isn't going to happen. And there's too many young straight girls that idolize Supergirl to have her be a lesbian is basically what they've said. And I'm like, well, okay, what about all the little queer girls that want to idolize a queer superhero? Yeah. I mean, thank God we have Sarah Lance and now Ava Sharp,
right?
To idolize. Yeah. And Alex Danvers on Supergirl is a queer character who has a love interest now, again, and she's going to Kelly Olsen is actually she's going to take over her brother's mantle as the Guardian. So she's going to get a superhero outfit in this second half of this season of Supergirl. So we've got women out there that,
Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't realize that there was going to be another superhero on Supergirl.
Yeah. So, we've got women that young girls can look at and say, wow, there's a queer superhero for me. I guess, I don't know. I guess Supergirl needs to be like I said before, they've always treated her she's very sweet, very apple pie, very, innocent. And I get that. And I'm fine with that. But she can still be a lesbian and still be innocent. I mean, come on.
Oh, definitely. But, that's not the narrative that, Hollywood wants to project or,
whoever
wants to project.
So, but that kind of
patriarchy.
That kind of led us into that's where that's the kind of fanfic that I gravitate to, is the supercore fanfic. And I know that I kind of got you hooked on one of actually it's I don't think there is another one out there that's as popular as the fanfic called Stay the Night.
By Lynn Arlington.
Yeah. It's pretty much the Bible of supercore. It's about just real quick. It's about Lena Luthor, and it's an AU. So it's, there's no super powers and there's no evil forces at play.
And just real quick, just in case anybody listening doesn't know what an AU is, it's an alternate universe.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah. So Lena is the reluctant owner of a men's and a women's professional basketball team in I forget which city they're in, because I always get them confused. Metropolis, Star City. There's so many different. They all inter overlap.
Intertwine.
Yeah, intertwine. But so she's the reluctant owner, and of course Kara is the star basketball player on the women's team, and of course
she is.
And of course they lust for each other.
That's a good way to put it.
It's a very, very well written. It's a very, very long fic. It's a wonderful fic. I've read it two times through and probably started a third time already. Intermixed with all the other supercore I read. But that kind of got us talking about, fanfic in general. And we've both mentioned that, I've written, I think I have 10 or 11 up on AO3, which is Archive of Our Own, a website that's non-for-profit fan run that you can post fan fiction on. And I've got a little bit of statistics we can talk about, but they just hit their 8 million works posted, which is incredible.
Wow, that's incredible. Yes.
Yeah. So just to back up for just a second. So the term fan fiction first appeared in print in 1939.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was actually a disparaging, kind of a thing back then, because it was,
it kind of still has that connotation nowadays.
It does sort of,
some people. But
we've kind of taken that to a new level, but and
definitely.
then it appeared again in 1944 in an encyclopedia of fan jargon called Fancyclopedia. Okay. All right.
What an apt name.
Yeah. But it's some forms of fan fiction have been around for very long, and even Shakespeare is accused of several of his plays were based on other stories that he had read. So he's even accused of writing fan fiction. But
never heard that, but okay, that's pretty cool.
And this is all based on I Googled it, and it's all based on the wiki that I found.
Right. You've heard it here, folks. Shakespeare was a fanfic writer.
So you can Google it and find it on the wiki page. But the Star Trek fandom is actually the ones who are credited for our modern version of fan fiction.
That I knew. I knew.
So they in 1967, they were publishing a fanzine called Spockanalia, and it contained some fan fiction. And unlike all of the other aspects of that fandom, almost all of the fan fiction was written by women. And
really,
yeah. And so in 1970, 83% of Star Trek fan fiction authors were female.
That's impressive.
And by 1973, 90% of all fan fiction was written by females. Yeah. So
let's hear it for the girls.
Yeah. So that's I
women.
I'm assuming, because I know that there's a lot of fiction out there that shipped Spock and
Captain Kirk.
Kirk. So
what was their ship name? Do we know?
I don't know. Now I'm curious. I'll have to go find that. But I'm.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay, so when you said fic started with Star Trek, I'm sorry. It was the ships started with Star Trek.
Yeah,
that's where my mind. Yeah. So continue. Sorry.
Yeah. So now I'm curious, and I've heard this as well, that there's a lot of straight women who write male on male fan fiction.
Hey, more power to you.
Even now today, a lot of the stuff that you read is women writing that, which I find fascinating. I've never written a male on male fiction. I'm not sure that I could. I mean, I know how things work, but I don't know. I haven't gotten my brain in that space for a very long time. But anyway, back to my nerding out statistics here. So in 1998, the not-for-profit site fanfiction.net came online.
Okay.
And they are still, I looked them up, they are still in existence, but I guess they're not being, the website isn't being maintained like it used to be. So I don't know. There's speculation that the creators have either moved on or just aren't taking care of the site anymore. But I think people are still posting to it. But the major one that all of us use is called Archive of Our Own.
Mm-hmm.
And it launched in November of 2009.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's been around for a while.
And like I said, they just announced, I just saw the tweet yesterday, actually, that they just surpassed 8 million works in over 45,000 fandoms. And they have over 3.9 million users.
That's impressive.
So that's incredible.
Yes.
Just incredible. Just to give you the idea of the magnitude of the fandoms that we follow, and I just looked them up real quick. The Winona Earp fandom. So whenever you write a fic, you tag it to that specific show that you want that fandom to find it for, and you can tag multiple shows, because I've done that. I write crossovers. Yeah. But all of the fics that have a Winona Earp fandom tagged, there's 6,566.
All right,
works.
That's good. Yeah, that's great.
Legends of Tomorrow has 13,735 works tagged.
Dang. All right.
Supergirl has 34,713 works posted, and probably over half of those are Supercore. So a ship that doesn't even exist in canon gets the most hits. The largest number of works using the same tag is Marvel. And it's 451,000. I'm sorry. So I guess they do some demographics as well. And we also talked about this. It was like, it seems like mostly women like fan fiction. Well, it's true. And mostly women write it. So there's a study that was done in 2020, and over 50% of the authors are female or female identified.
Okay.
13.4% are masculine or mask-leaning.
Okay.
11% of users disclose that they are transgender, and over 21% are non-binary.
Okay. And are those stats specific to AO3 or?
I didn't look at the footnotes. I kind of I think that because AO3 is the majority, I think there's another site called Wattpad, but I don't know how sophisticated it is. And then in the age groups, it's mostly in the early to mid 20s, and 56% are university students and other young adults. 21% register as being over or 30 years or over. So 21% register as being 30 years or older, and 0.2% are of retirement age. So, I'm not retirement age yet, but I'm in that, that much less percentage. And that makes sense as to why I don't, and not to justify why I don't read a lot of Wynonna Earp fan fiction, but a lot of it, and I shouldn't say a lot of it, but most of what I see is high school stuff, is them, in their younger, especially the AUs in their youth and things of that nature. And it's not that I don't enjoy that kind of fiction, but I like the action adventure, I'd even like exploring writing an AU at some point where, Waverly and Nicole are older. And I think I've already, I've done one of those, is more canon compliant, but that's where my preferences lie, is because I'm older and I want to read older stuff. So the exclusion to that is Supercore, because they are ageless. There is there's not a lot of, I don't find a lot of stories that put them in a high school situation.
Okay.
And I don't know why that is. I just think, the couple and their characters are so rich that there's so much to write about with them in their current status of,
because fans aren't given, you know what I mean? When they haven't been given.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of backstory on either
and
one
we
of
do
them.
get that with Way Hot. We have seen them together. We have seen them. I mean, they've gotten married. The stairs scene. I mean, we've gotten that stuff, which I think is why there's so much more fanfic for Supercore, because the fans want it. They're craving it. And since the writers and the studio won't give it, they're going to create it themselves.
We're going to do it ourselves. Yeah. You're right. 100%. So I know that you prefer reading Way Hot or Wynonna Earp. And
I do. I was introduced to fanfic through Way Hot. So I tend to gravitate towards that couple when I'm reading fanfic. I have, read the one Supercore that you gave me, the Stay of the Night that we've already talked about. And then I tried a Carmilla fic, which I just didn't get into that specific one. Not to say that, I won't continue to search that out. But I just, there's something about Nicole Hott and Waverly Earp that I love their dynamic, and I love seeing what people, where like new situations that people put them in. And I love that relationship. And maybe it's because, we actually did get to see a lot more with that couple on the screen, so I'm able to really connect to them, like in my mind's eye or what have you. But yeah, I do want to branch out. Like I said, I've tried Carmilla. I tried one fic so far of Carmilla. It was all right. It didn't grab me as much as a lot of the Way Hot fic that I read. But I think at some point I am going to, branch out, but there's so much, still left to read on, Way Hot that I'm in my happy place.
So what draws you in? What makes a good fic for you?
I do like action, like you said, but I the romance. I'm a romantic at heart, so I love to see a good romance between the two of them. I don't really care for the ones where they're like, I mean, not that I don't read any of them or like any of them, but like where it's all full of angst and they're separated, or they, I don't know. I love when it comes to Way Hot fic, I love them to end up together, and be happy at the end. Like that is like, I love that. Like, I don't want to read a fic and then have them break up or, which a lot of the fic isn't, I don't think I've ever really seen too many negative endings or anything, but I don't like reading it where I don't feel like, they end in a good place, because that ship means so much to me. And that's why, I loved the end of season 4 of Winona, because of the way Emily left everything. Like she gave the fans, a huge gift in not stringing us along, or, she gave us what we wanted and what she knew she could give us in that moment. And hopefully there's more. But anyway, I'll get off that topic.
Yeah. So do you find yourself gravitating to the AUs, or do you like to read the canon stuff too?
I'll read whatever, as long as it's, it engages me. I actually have a short list of 5 fics that I found very interesting. They grabbed my interest and kept it throughout the entire fic. So I have like my top 5 as of right now. This could change in the future based on what I read next. But for finished fics, I have 180 by Sensitive Pigeon, which I know that you even have said that if you were on a deserted island, you'd bring that fic to read. Yes, because it's very well done. And I actually commented, I let the author know that I would love to see like another story, in that same realm or world. And I think they are writing a new one, which is so super exciting. So I hope that we get that soon. Yeah. And then I have, and these are in no particular order, just so we're clear. I have You Made Me Love You by Boots and Cats. I actually have 2 on my list by Boots and Cats.
Everything Boots and Cats writes is
yeah, excellent. The other one by Boots and Cats is called Girls Are Like Guns, and that one is a spy AU, which I got into it. It was very good.
Waverly, I love the way they wrote Waverly in that one.
Yes, very very strong, very just
shit kicking kind of.
Shit kicking. Not chicken.
No, not chicken. Shit kicking.
You shit tickets. Then I have Dance with the Devil by Darcy 81. That one's a really good fic. And then Still I Miss the Seasons by New 54321. And that one is it's Nicole is, she works at, I'm trying to think, she works on an island, and she's kind of like, she's been very like party girl oriented, not party girl, but just like very like has no goals or anything, just kind of goes with the flow, right? Doesn't really get any like really lasting relationships or anything like that. And then Waverly comes to the island, and then all bets are off.
Yeah, and I don't think I finished that one. I did start reading.
Oh yeah, it's a good one. You should read it. And then the one unfinished fic that I'm reading that I have to mention because I love it is Catch Me When You Can by Rack Wonder. And it's Jack the Ripper AU with Way Hot, and Winona's in it. Doc plays an Irish guy, which I find hilarious.
That's funny. Isn't Dolls in that one too? And
yes, Dolls.
They're all in it, right?
Yeah. Yep. I was trying to go through all the Mercedes is there, Rosita's there. But yeah, it's set back in the time of Jack the Ripper, which was the
18. Was it
18? Yeah, you know what? You're probably right. No, you're absolutely right. I'm pretty sure it was the late 1800s. Yeah, or early. God, whatever. It was sometime in history.
Yeah. Back in the olden days.
Yeah.
Because they don't have electricity, I don't think, do they? In that one?
No, they do. Well,
I don't know how Rack wrote it.
I can't remember. I think they mentioned in the fic that they light the street lamps, like they go out and light them.
Yeah. So that would mean they don't have electricity.
I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
Horse and carriage and
there's definitely horse and carriage.
Yeah, I'm thinking they don't have
cobblestone streets and all that stuff.
And it's in London, right?
It is. So. Yes. Yeah. Well, that's where Jack was. So.
Right.
But yeah, that one I love, and it's not finished yet. And I keep my eye out to see when the next chapter comes out because I'm so into it. And no pressure, Rack Wonder, but please give us more.
so there's a lot of, I hear a lot of people saying that they not refuse, but they would rather not start a fic that's not finished because they don't want to.
I typically try to stick to the ones that are complete because I want to be able to read the whole story and not forget where I left off or forget, what was going on and have to remind myself and get back into it. Like I like to have the full experience, in one go. And that's the other thing. I don't tend to read more than one fic at a time. I just focus on one because I want to like live in that world.
Get the full experience.
Yes. Yeah. So I prefer finished fics, but there are a few that I have started that I'm eagerly awaiting updates. And I told myself I wouldn't do it, but I did, because there were a few that stood out to me as, I really kind of like this idea, or, this world that they're trying to set up. So yeah. One of them is Wide Open Spaces. That one I'm into. Hasn't been updated in a minute. Radio Waves, I just finished. They actually did just finish it. I started it before it was done, and then they finished it, so I was able to read that one through. That was pretty good. I don't remember the author, so forgive me, but so I am definitely a way hot fanfic reader. And I am trying to, every now and again, I'll try to branch out and read other things, but there's still, plenty of way hot out there for me to read. And, I've told you, I'm trying to write one. Trying is maybe an overstatement.
It's harder than it seems.
It is. I feel like I'm a good writer, as far as like I do a lot of writing in my job, but it's for, medical forms and what have you. So I feel like I can write well, but writing creatively is a different animal than I'm used to. And trying to develop a fully rounded story that, has a good start, middle, and end, that's where I'm struggling. So I started to write one. I have probably about 7,500 to maybe 8,000 words, but I keep going back and tinkering with it, because I know I can do better. You know what I mean? So I'm still only on chapter 1 or 2. I think I might break it into 2, but it's hard, and to keep your motivation and drive to do it. I have to remind myself every now and again, like, oh yeah, you gotta go write, like, I don't know. And you've even recommended, like, maybe write something like just a one shot, like just for you, doesn't have to go anywhere, just to kind of break yourself out of that. And I'm considering it at this point, because I feel like I'm at a standstill.
Smut will clear your mind.
Smut is the balm of
there's probably
the fanfic world.
Yeah, probably 60% of my one shots are all smut.
Yeah, hey.
No, that's not true, because I do have a couple of rated Gs. Okay, so that's not true.
G or teen or
I think they're Gs. They're general audience, which is pretty much general audience is pretty much, to me, it's pretty much the same thing as teen. I mean,
yeah, that's what I would think.
If I'm gonna write a G rated, it's gonna be for everybody. There's not gonna be any swearing or sex in it. But yeah,
that's a shame.
Well,
no,
I try to branch out, because smut comes really easy to me. It doesn't come easy to a lot of authors,
right? But that was I'm not going to mention the name of the fic or anything, but I did just read a fic that it was rated explicit. And I don't know what this author's idea of explicit is, but it definitely wasn't that for me.
Yeah.
It's interesting
about that, because it's
a very subjective
to the author and how they're, what their comfort level is, and using, if they use one word that they think is pornographic, then they're gonna, they're entitled to make that an explicit fic if they want to.
Yeah.
Or just tag it that way.
Yeah. And it was frustrating too, because that fic, it was like, they would start to get into like, the smut, but it was like they would never allow the characters to, for lack of a better term, finish.
Yeah.
Which is, frustrating when you're reading a fic. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else to say, but.
And let's preface all of this by saying, we're fully aware that we're all amateurs. We're all doing this just for our own, enjoyment, basically.
Right.
And that we're not criticizing anyone's, way of doing anything.
Right. No. And I did. And that's why I won't even mention the name of the fic or the author, because I'm not here to shame anybody or badmouth anybody. It was a frustrating fic for me, because, all the explicit fic that I've read.
Expectation.
Yeah. It wasn't exactly what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I give a lot of prop. I mean, like I said, I'm still trying to write a chapter, I said. So I give a lot of credit to the people who actually have something published, whether it's on AO3 or actually published in the world. Right. And as Emily told me in one of my one-on-ones, or in my only one-on-one with her, if you put pen to paper or if you stare down the blank page and you're able to write something, then you're a writer.
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, I loved that she said that. It gave me a little bit of a boost, and it was like, okay, like I don't have to have it all figured out right from the jump, right from jump. So, yeah, it was just nice.
When I got to meet her in 2019 at Herpapalooza, that was one of the first things I told her was that she's inspired me to write. And
that's what I told her. Yeah. And that's how we got on that topic. Yeah.
And when she autographed the photo that I picked, it's actually of her between Kat and Dom at the awards. But she wrote, keep on writing, keep on creating.
Yes.
And it's on my wall behind me, and that's
cool.
Constant inspiration for me. So
yes. Yeah. And I mean, this is the first show that gave me that spark that said, I could do this. And based on a panel actually that Emily had done at one of the cons, and don't ask me which one because I don't remember, but she was doing, it was almost like a writer's workshop, but no, it wasn't. I think she mentioned that she had done a writer's workshop at the con, and she kind of just was like, so in the panel, she had mentioned something to the effect of like, we need more people behind the screen, behind the camera, in the writer's room, etc. And that was like, it gave me this boost of like, oh my God, like I could be one of those people, I've never written a thing like, creatively in my life, but I feel like I could be one of those people. And it kind of set me down a road of, wanting to like try screenwriting and which led me into fic and, and now I'm trying to write a fic and so
I'd still love to learn how to screenwrite. I mean, that's I think that is something that I would like to go at some point.
Yeah. I actually took a 1-day course that was being offered locally, just, it was a very basic course, but I actually, went to that, and then I signed up for a class on there's this website called Udemy, and it's like all courses that you can learn anything about anything. Like you can learn to play an instrument, you can learn how to screenwrite, you can do all these things. And I have 2 courses, and honestly, I've gotten sidetracked from them with all the fic I've been reading and trying to write. And
it's easy to do.
Yeah. And all the shows and then the pod. So,
the pod,
yeah. Things got, distracted. I got distracted from it, but not to say that I won't ever return to it, because I do have a desire to pursue it for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So fic, I mean, well, Winona Earp in general has opened up my world, but fic,
mine too. Yeah.
Yeah. Fic has definitely played a huge part in that as well. So,
yeah. And I found fic because of Winona Earp, but I gravitated right back to writing Legends of Tomorrow fic.
Right.
Because those were the characters that I was so deeply ingrained in. I mean, I love writing Way Hot, but I still love writing Ava Lance just as much. And I would like at some point, when I get the time, to write a Supercore AU of just them, because they are in this current fic that I'm writing, but they're not the main focus.
Okay. All right.
So that's one of the things that I'd like to do eventually. I actually, after finishing the OG L Word, I actually wondered if anyone had written any fanfic about Valentina.
I'm sure they have.
Actually,
no,
it's not a lot.
Out of town.
And I'm now knowing the statistics that I know about the authors being so much younger, it's a good possibility that this generation of queer folks has not seen the original L Word.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I might try to write a Valentina smut. I don't know.
Do it. I would read it. I know a lot of people probably would read
Yeah,
it. So,
yeah.
I mean, and I've said this before, but I think you're a great writer, Lee.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no,
Thank
for
you.
real. Like, you're great. So keep it up. And I'm trying.
Yeah.
Not always actively trying, but I'm trying in my own way.
Yeah. No, you've got the potential there. I've read your stuff. You definitely.
I try.
Yep.
Well, I'll get there someday. I just need to, my biggest obstacle at this point is the story development before you start writing. Like, I don't know if I need to actually flesh out everything, or because I think I kind of just jumped into it and was like, okay, I'll just see where this takes me.
Yeah.
But then I don't know, like,
you have to
I'm still trying to figure out my process.
Right. You have to find your own process, and it's different for everyone. Some, like I'll get a story, an idea in my head, and I'll let it roll for a while before I even start writing anything.
Right.
But then once I start writing, it's mostly seat of my pants. I know where I want to go with it, but a lot of times it'll take me in a completely different direction. And then I'll have fun with that too.
Right.
I've had instances where I've tried to like have a beginning and an end, and then trying to get the middle to match was a little bit frustrating. So I've learned that I need to make sure that I know where I want to go.
Right.
But I don't write any of it down. I don't have an outline. I can't. Because if I start writing the outline, I'm just going to start writing.
Right.
The whole thing. It's like, because I've tried doing that.
Right.
And that's why I kind of love the one shots. And when we say one shot, to me, a one shot is, 10,000 or less words. It's a one chapter kind of a thing that you're just going to be a beginning, middle, and end of, and that's it. Or it's just, an encounter that's just a very short encounter.
Right.
But those kind of, again, it's like it clears my mind for that multi-chapter that I'm working on over here. It's like, okay, I've got this idea, but it's not going to fit into this chapter, but I still want to write it. And it's like, I'm always all over the place. You know me. It's like, I'm bouncing.
Well, I mean, and me too, from, reading my fic, like,
yeah,
I've changed direction like several times now because I never had a solid idea of where I wanted it to ultimately go. Like I would get an idea and I'm like, okay, that's great. And then I'm like, no, it's not that great. Like, and then like I'd rethink it through and change it. And then I think the biggest thing that I need to remember is to keep it simple. That's keep it simple, stupid. That's a rule. And then just to have, like you said, like have the idea of where I want to go throughout the whole story, but maybe not all of the details, so that it can kind of come out in the process of writing it,
Right.
But I don't know, like I think I need to know where it's going so that I know how to get there.
Yeah. So, that makes sense. And that makes sense. The other advice I would give you, and I think we've probably already talked about this because we talked about it many times, but don't force it.
Right.
Let it for me, especially, I like to let it breathe. And it's like, it like to let the characters tell me where they want to go. And I'll start writing something that's like, oh my, this is absolutely absurd, but I'll let it stay there for a little bit. And I might go back and read it again, in a day or two and say, okay, well, that's not as absurd as I thought. Or, okay, if I change it, this will, it's all like, for me, it doesn't, I envy authors that can just pump out, 6,000, 8,000 word chapters in a week. And
I know I can't, I'm like, how are you doing this? Like, teach me. How do you do that?
I did that with my first multi-chapter fic. I forced myself to write every single night, and I made sure that I put out a chapter every single week. And when I go back and read it now, and it's my first multi-chapter, when I first started it, my writing was, but by the time I was done, because I had forced myself to go through, I forget how many chapters it is, 11, 12. I don't know how many chapters it is.
Right.
It's been a while since I wrote that. But by the time I got to the end of writing that, I can see even my own, and not the pat myself on the back.
No.
I definitely
pat yourself.
I definitely see the difference in my writing. Yeah.
Right. Went there.
But I
definitely see the difference.
I definitely see the progress in the forcing myself to make sure that I'm writing. It's exercising a muscle in your brain that's, you get it stronger as you keep using it. And the longer between, like now I'm I'm in chapter 11 of this multi-chapter and I'm not done, but I haven't touched it in several weeks. And so you have to, for me, at least I have to go back and where am I, get into the characters again and understand where I wanted it to go. So the longer you are away from it, the harder it is to write it. But that's not true for
everybody. Yeah. Everybody's different. Everybody has their own way of doing things and there's no one right way.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So
but you have to, I guess my point was you have to find your way that works for you. And once you do that, believe me, you'll be, it'll start flowing better. It just does.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like I'm not forcing myself to do it. And that's good, but that's also bad because I think I almost kind of need to in order to kind of have that breakthrough like you had where then it just starts to come out and it's the, like practice makes perfect, even though I don't think perfect exists, but we always strive for it, don't we?
Right.
So, but yeah, the more you do it, the better you get at it. So I think I need to just, maybe that's what I need to do. I need to start writing every night and just, even if it's, like 500 words, like at least it's something, at least I'm writing and I'm trying to stay in that headspace. So
I can even give you a quick analogy because I was a musician in high school and kind of am now. I definitely
you play the drums.
Yeah, but not like in high school when I was in marching band and all the bands, stage band, concert band, all of them, because band was the thing that kept me alive. Music was the thing that kept me alive. When you first start to learn a song, it's like it's clunky and you're learning the notes and the rhythm, and they teach you that the more you play that song and the more you practice that song, obviously you get to a point where you don't even think about it anymore. And then you get to enjoy the emotional parts of what's happening. And I think for me, that's what writing is too. It's like you first start, it's, it's this clunky, where am I going? But then you hit this stride where it's like, yeah, there it is. There's the song.
Like butter.
Yeah. And yeah, it's an amazing feeling when you do start to feel that. It's like, oh my God, I'm creating something.
Right.
It may be crap and maybe no one else wants to read it, but I'm enjoying it,
Well, and I've had those moments where I've been like, okay, yeah. And then I go and then I'll go back and read it. And then I'm like, okay, so maybe it wasn't quite as good as I thought it was while I was writing it, but again, it's a process. And that's the one thing for me that I know that I need to allow myself to know that I'm not going to get it right out of the gate. I need to put in the time and just keep going, keep working at it. And it's not going to be an amazing story right from the start. Like I have to put in the time.
Yeah.
And, and that's with anything you do. You have to put in the time in order to, get better,
Yeah. And we're our own worst critics.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Don't let that stop you from being creative.
No, I mean, I definitely want to continue this fic specifically. Yeah. I want to finish it. And, like we had this conversation before, but maybe I did bite off a little more than I could chew, being that I'm trying to write a multi-chapter fic when I've never written before.
Just approach it as you're just writing and let it come out. Don't worry about how many chapters or how many words or where,
And just enjoy the process.
Yep.
And I do. And when I get into it, like, I'm like, all right, I'm jamming. And, I do get into a groove sometimes, but I think it's the story, like, the overall arching story, like that's where I struggle. It's like knowing where you're going to go and how you're going to get there. That's kind of important when you're writing.
It is very important.
Yep. So that you don't just go on and on and on. And so, but
cool.
I'm definitely going to continue writing. In fact, I might try to do some this weekend. I'm going to.
Cool.
But on another note, switching gears a little bit, just to give people a heads up, the Umbrella Academy season 3 just almost finished filming, according to Elliot Page, posted on their Instagram, I think, that said that they're almost finished. So I can't wait for season 3. And then just another few things I just wanted to mention. Love, Victor was renewed for a season 3 on Hulu, which I had mentioned in a previous pod that I had started season 1 and I enjoyed it, but I just got pulled away for other things. But it's cool to see it is a gay story. So it's good to see that, they're getting another season, regardless of, the fact that I haven't watched all the way through.
Yeah.
It's good to see representation on the screen.
Always.
Yes. And then another cool thing is that Hawkeye finally, the Hawkeye Marvel show. Is it a show? Yeah, it's a show, right? With Jeremy Renner and Haley.
Is it going to be a series?
I'm trying to remember if it's a movie or a show.
I don't know.
I feel like it's a show. But anyway, Hawkeye from Marvel is premiering. They released that they're going to premiere in November. So
okay.
End of the year. But again, I'm a Marvel fanatic. So I am definitely looking forward to that one. And I do love Haley Steinfeld. I love her acting. I love her singing. She's multifaceted. So she's in that show Dickinson on Apple TV, which also another queer show. So check it out if you haven't. And then my last thing is that Stranger Things just released their season 4 teaser.
Yeah.
And that came out on Friday, August 6th, which was yesterday for us right now, we're recording. And it looks good. Well, I mean, it's a teaser. A lot of the clips were from the previous seasons, but there were a few new clips sprinkled in, and it's getting me hyped up for it. But unfortunately, they did announce that it won't be coming out until next year.
Yeah. Which we're not surprised.
Yeah, not surprised.
No.
It is a bummer, but not surprised in the least.
It'll be worth the wait.
Figured. Yes, definitely. So those are a few of the things that are coming up. And is there anything else you want to talk about, Lee?
I think we got it all.
I think we did.
Yeah.
That was I liked our conversation about fic.
Yeah, as always. Yeah. Such fun to talk to you.
Yeah, I love our conversations, you know. And I love our new format, just you and me talking, because that's originally what we kind of discussed, and now we're doing it, and it feels good. It feels comfortable, and it feels right. So if you agree, maybe you could reach out. If you're listening, you could reach out to us. Let us know. We do have an email address. It's nerdtonerdpodcast@gmail.com. And we are on Twitter as well @nerdtonerdpod. We also have an Instagram. What's that, Lee?
Nerd to Nerd Pod as well.
Oh, okay, great. Mm-hmm. So I will try to remember that for next time.
That's fine.
So if you get a chance, you give us a rating on Apple, drop us an email,
just say hi.
Just say hi. Let us know you're out there if you're listening. We would love to hear from people, get some feedback about the pod. Let us know if there's any shows that you want us to cover, or talk about, or any other subjects. We're open to a lot of things. We do gaming, shows, movies.
We got a lot of interests.
Yeah. So we want to thank you for listening. And until next time, stay nerdy.